I know for me, and I guess we'll get back to the hallucination thing. For me, it's like the meditation has become like super stale. It's so like I'm not even doing anything, you know? Like that's how it feels for me personally.
Yeah, I was telling you before a while ago, I kind of started feeling the same thing.
Yeah, so you're probably even worse. Were you able to like reinvigorate it, or you're still
honestly not really. I feel like like it's just slipping between my fingers, you know?
Yeah, whereas before there was like I felt like I was really like, oh, I'm doing it, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And there are kind of like glimmers that like happen where it's like, oh, I'm with it and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
But so today, like I was trying something a little different, and I've been kind of experimenting with like this idea of like breaking down the sort of lens of being human.
Okay.
So it's like there's all these like entry points of sensory experience to a human being,
Okay.
right? And it's like we know that it's a limited framework, you know, like we see certain things attract our eye more than others, you know, like movement versus still things, or high contrast things versus low contrast things. So it's like we have like a general system, but like the system itself has rules for dictating the way that things are seen and felt and heard, right? And so it's like just by starting to meditate and like experiment with this idea, like of trying to figure out like where are the kind of seams or artifacts, or like how can I see the reflection of like the system itself, and like by understanding the system try and see through it, you know? What can I see? And like so I've been kind of just like saying to myself over and over again, it's like there is more that we're trained like not to see. Not that we're trained not to see it, but we're trained to see other things. But it's like, what am I missing? Like, I'm looking at reality right now.
Right.
And it's right in front of my face. But what am I missing? I'm not seeing, like, right. I'm seeing the wrong thing.
Right.
And so, like, my meditation today and, like, some other previous things has been like that, where it's like, I want to see through it. I don't want to just see it. And it kind of, and then another thing was like, I just started thinking about that and looking, and then my vision started to like do all these like strange things, you know? And then another thing, like I was sitting on the floor, and maybe you guys want to try this, right? And I was just like, I was feeling my body too. And I was like, so doing the same thing with my body now, where it's like, my body can feel things. I guess this all comes from that guy you mentioned that could like detect the Wi-Fi signals. And I was like, if that guy's body could do that, it's like my body is feeling things, but it's just like I'm ignoring things because it's not useful, right? And so I'm like, okay, what, like letting my body listen now. It's like, what's going on? Like, what am I experiencing for real? Like, don't write anything off. Like, what is it that I'm feeling right now? And try to like get everything at the same time without like investing, like without like trying to like hallucinate too much, where like I'm just like making it all up, like trying to be like feel it as truly as possible. And it was actually really interesting because like I was holding my hand, and when I held it in the air, it didn't I didn't really feel anything, but when I put my hand close to an object or the floor, I could feel like a tingling, like a sense of vibration coming off of that. And I was like, well, that could be like a lot of things, you know, like that can definitely be something, but I don't know. Now, I don't know if it's a placebo effect, but you guys should try it too. Like, hold your hand out in the air and just see, like, how your hand feels, like, when you hold it out in the air. And then hold it next to the floor and see if you notice a difference.
So you're trying... Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's funny you say that, because I was doing that, because that's a yoga practice, too. It's
Get
like,
the fuck
you
out
sit
of here.
down. It's like how you start, kind of. And then sometimes. And then you just, like, one of the things, like, to hold it, like, an inch.
That's what I was doing, exactly
like an inch
that.
above the ground. And then eventually, you know, do that, and then do some stretching shit. But you go back to like that, and that's like a reset thing. So it's funny because I was doing that today too.
Holy
Like
fuck.
to ground yourself?
No, it's just like I don't know what the fuck it's for.
Yeah, I'm serious though. Do it. Like you can. Do you feel the difference?
Yeah, you could feel like something, you know.
Just like an inch above the ground?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hold it out in the air first, or yeah, just like contrast it. Do it.
Maybe I might have to sit down before.
I don't really feel anything. I'm too evil.
But hold it in the air too. So feel like the difference between the air.
I do feel like a very, very slight like breeze, but I wonder if that's just like the breeze, you know?
But you feel it in the air, right? Or you don't feel it in the air.
No, not really.
But then you feel something like on the floor, right?
Ever so lightly, yes.
Right.
Like a super weak wind, I guess.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
I mean, for me, it's kind of like a tingling. It feels a little bit like a pressure,
Right.
like a tiny like when you get like a little bit of push on a magnet.
Do
or
you
something.
feel that?
A little bit, but I don't know if that's like also just your hands being down. And
So
your
the
blood.
blood is. That's what I was
Yeah.
trying to figure out. If
Yeah,
it was that.
I-
But then
I-
that's why I tried to do it like this too, like holding it in the air in the
Right.
same way, and then that's what I've been trying to do with my meditation.
But yeah, there might be something to it. But yeah, I mean, I felt like, yeah, it's hard to tell if it's like just a breeze from like just like, you know, the atmosphere, you know.
right. Or
But-
if it's
But yeah, or it's with like a demon. I'm kidding. But in any event, I feel like you're trying to say that you're trying to like break through the filters.
yes.
Are you trying to spice up your meditation?
And that I figured like I'm meditating, and like instead of just being mindful, I want to be like extra mindful. It's like, well, let me try and be mindful
Isn't
of that.
wrong though? Doesn't that defeat like the purpose?
What is the purpose?
It's just to clear your everything, to get rid of the ego. Just breathe it away, right? Just kind of breathe and let it be. The point is nothing.
I guess you would say, I think like you're right, but at the same time, there's like other meditations, right? Because I know there's meditations too where you can put like higher level ones or whatever you want to call it. That you would, for example, focus on good things for the people that you care about, you know,
right.
stuff like that, or you focus on something really specific, like a mantra.
That's true. I guess I've been doing that one basically based off that Sam Harris thing where you just kind of go back to the breath.
Yeah, like the
time.
mindfulness one. Yeah.
Yeah, when you get the thought, just observe it and then breathe it
Yeah,
away.
that's kind of my go-to.
Feel your body.
But I would like to do different things now too, because I've been bored with it too, and I feel like I don't know, just by nature, I guess we get bored. Do you feel bored by it?
Sometimes,
Yeah.
but I thought that was just that's like the package, you know. It's like
You're
sometimes you're bored, and that's like you got to realize you're bored, and then go back to the breath and don't feel bored anymore. You know.
Yeah, that's true. I think
Don't
like
abandon us.
I do like sometimes like I'll feel like tension in my body
yeah.
or like some other like stuff like something doesn't feel right, and I'll break out into like poses a bit. Where I'll stretch myself, or do like yoga stuff for a little bit. Like sometimes I'll do cat cow, or I'll do like dog pose or child's pose and stuff like that, just to like go through the kinks. And it's the same thing because I feel yoga and meditation are very similar because you're just breathing, you're focusing on the breath, and like exactly like what's happening in the now. You know, it's like you might be doing these movements, but you're not really thinking. You're just kind of concentrating on like everything being okay. And that movement being okay, and being okay with like any discomfort, like that's just like part of the thing. And then when you snap back to like the regular like just sitting, it's like
Yeah.
it's like refreshing.
I guess like both things are legitimate, you know, but I think I finally should try to spice it up. Maybe like consciously focusing on an idea might be make it like spice it up or something, you know? Because I do feel like my mind gets bored. I get bored easily just by nature, I think.
Yeah.
And I think that, yeah, because I do feel like I've hit a wall with it, you know?
Yeah, me too.
I try to astral project sometimes. Like I'll hear like I'll be like in my living room and I'll hear like a bird and I'll feel the sun and I try to like triangulate the two and try to like move myself like out there.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
I mean, it doesn't, it's like
Never
not
works.
outside, but it feels like cool.
I was thinking like, yeah, like breaking through the filters, that maybe like it would be, maybe it could be cool to try to break through individual filters, because I don't know if it's harder or easier, but it might just be interesting to try to break through one filter. Like let's say you're sitting there and you have like a million emotions. You could think like, you know what, let me, isolate my nervousness and, let me just like try to get past that one and look at everything else. And what does it look when I remove that like glass, And then like, let me remove another one. And then like, what if I mix them or something? What if I try to play like mindfuck games like that? Maybe that would be interesting.
And I think, Eric, to kind of talk to what you're saying about like losing the ego, and I do feel like it kind of takes like a different like ego to do it. Like it's like, because it is like a detachment thing, like with the breath meditation. But yeah, it's like instead of just like focusing on the breath and like dissipating the ego that way, it is like Tony is describing. It's more like you're standing apart from it.
Also, your ego has more standards than mine. You know, like some better ego stuff.
Yes, I'm one up. Ego up in here.
I think both are good ideas. You know,
Yeah.
maybe we just gotta mix it up.
I think like
Well, weren't you looking at different meditations a
I
while
was,
back?
but I kind of like didn't. I didn't consciously go for it. You know, so I
Right.
think now I have to consciously go for it because I was just kind of like. It becomes this thing where I know I'm not doing it properly. You know.
yeah, and that's the feeling I get too.
Yeah.
That it's like I'm not investing the right thing.
Yeah.
But I think I'll continue to do that, though. It's like I'll meditate and try and see through the filters. And sometimes the filters are psychological,
Yeah.
and sometimes they're like physical.
It might be a good idea. It might be a good idea. Also, just there's different guided meditations. Like we can try. You can look one up on YouTube or something. Oh, like today I'll try that one. See how I feel about that one. You know.
That's true.
Even in Buddhism, I mean, like, there's a lot in Buddhism about, like, analyzing different things, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, meditate on this, meditate on that, meditate on that.
Yeah. You know what's interesting about the Michael Pollan book that I'm reading that I told you guys about is kind of blah.
Mhm.
It did get a little bit better coincidentally when we were talking about it, but then it kind of like blot out again.
Uh-huh.
So like we'll see. I think I'm gonna finish it anyway, but we'll see.
Alright.
But yeah, one thing that is interesting that he says, I think he said it on the podcast too. I don't remember, but it's that things like love and being in the moment and all those things. When people say those things in general life, they seem like they've been said too much, like they're trite and pointless, like they're like platitudes, like doesn't mean anything. Like, oh, let's love everyone. That seems like nonsense, generally. Like you would seem almost not like foolish if you publicly said, oh, like the love is this important. Like love matters so much, Generally that's seen as silly almost, And I think what happens is that because, we disconnect ourselves so much from that, things we suck the meaning out of the meaningful things. So like love really does matter a lot, but because how soulless things are generally and how used to we become to, the go of everything, that, those things that actually are still meaningful now appear meaningless and seem silly, Now it seems like, oh, that's just a platitude. It doesn't mean anything, Like love doesn't mean anything. But really it still does mean all that, but we just kind of suck the beauty out of it,
It's also been like, you hear all you need is love.
Yeah, so that sounds silly
That kind of
almost.
stuff.
Yeah. So
been beaten to death.
Yeah, like
but
we-
it's like a valid point. I think
Yeah.
said that on podcast. That sounds familiar.
yeah, exactly that. So I think that's interesting, like how we ruin good concepts. So you were saying before that, to awkwardly change the subject, so your wife is driving you crazy again.
But I didn't tell you about this phone call, right?
No.
So I was walking, and like I was like, at the corner over there, and she called me because I've been trying to be like more accessible. Like, okay, you can call me if you want to talk, blah blah blah. I won't always be able to, but anyway, so she calls me. I'm like, hello, what's up? And then she starts getting into the stuff, and she's like, I need you, I miss you, and I love you. And then I'm like, I understand. That's what I said. I understand. And then she's like, you understand? Like, she's looking for something that's not what she wanted to hear. She's like, I want you to like want those things too, or say those things too, she says. And to be honest, like on my walk down from the bus, like I was just like kind of like reeling in my head, thinking about everything too. And then I was like, I was fresh with it. So she called me and I was like, well, it was just on my mind. And what I was thinking is like how honest I need to be. Kind of like what we talked about, where it's like, I think like my not being honest about my true feelings with her isn't helping. It's sending like a mixed message. And then she's, so then I was like, I'm just going to go for it now since, why the hell not? And then, so I'm like, well, I don't feel those things. And she's like, what? And I'm like, all right, let's unpack this. I'm like, I definitely don't need you. I was like, I could, if like we split up tomorrow, I would get by for the rest of my life.
You said that?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I told her, I was
That's
like, I definitely don't need you. I told her that. I made that very clear. And then I'm like, missing you? I was like, I don't miss anybody. Like, that's just the way I am. Which is true. And I feel like you guys know that. It's like, when it comes to missing people, it's like, I have, like, that file is missing, Like, I can go pretty long periods of time without seeing people and be okay with it, So it's not just her. And I know, like, I told her, I'm like, I know it's not like...
Especially you.
It's just in general, It's like I prefer like a lot of distance between people, and as long as I know people are doing okay, then it's like I don't need to see you all the time. It's like you can be independently.
Yeah.
Do. Anyway, but
Wait, would you guys be appalled if I had a beer?
no.
I don't think so.
But then I think Eric and I might
Yeah, we gotta smoke some weed.
interject our own demands.
Yeah.
Oh, like the pipe?
The vape, yeah.
I don't care. Like, I think it's like that's like light enough. It won't, right?
Yeah.
It's on the table.
Or we can. Do you want to just go in the bathroom or?
No, I don't
Yeah,
think it's
right,
it's
right.
not worth
So then, sorry to interrupt. I think it'll help.
and vapor travels up.
Jack, do you want one?
No. No.
I feel like it's a good time for
You can have a go. I already smoked this one.
too.
Oh, did you?
My man. Why do you think I'm trying to feel all these energies and stuff? My
Oh,
man.
shit. There you go. That's why you're hallucinating.
Yeah.
I thought it was just the power of your mind.
Yeah.
So
Hey,
you-
I mean, I'm not that stoned. Yeah, but then I took this Nootropic the other day, man. I was gonna bring it, but I didn't bring it for you guys yet. But I'll bring you some.
Lauren.
Huh?
Lauren.
What?
Lauren.
I've been taking this mushroom that helps me like remember.
Oh.
It's supposed to be good for your memory.
Does it help?
Lauren's the name of the girl from the Coke bottle.
Well, so the thing is, the pill is called
Oh
Lauren.
yeah.
What's that?
The nootropic is called Lauren.
No,
Oh,
Lauren
no.
was you know how the Cokes have like names on the bottom?
Oh
On the
yeah,
bottle?
yeah.
And I was joking around. I was gonna throw that bottle into his backpack. So
Julie
his
finds
wife,
it.
yeah. So
She's
she
like,
finds. Who the fuck is Lauren? So that. But I was just the power of this drug.
He was
maybe
maybe
it's
showing off. 'cause
it
I-
might be placebo, but it's like I feel like I'm remembering like random shit more.
So where was this Lauren on?
On like the coats, you know, they have the
Oh,
names
okay,
on.
okay,
so,
okay,
like,
okay. On the you
On
are
the
talking about
cocaine.
it.
yeah, we were at the studio and we stopped at the drugstore. I got a
Oh,
Coca-Cola.
So so you told her you don't miss people.
Yeah,
Okay, then from there.
and especially like, no, I don't miss you.
Yeah.
This
Oh,
is
that's
straight
your
up.
pen. Oh, okay.
And then she was like, and then the love part, and then I was like, and then for the love part, I'm like, you know, I kind of told her, I'm like, you've been nothing but difficult lately, so it's like, there's not really like much to love. It's like, I don't love that. I'm like, I dislike it very much, you know, it's the opposite of love.
What did you say to that?
And then she was started like, oh, you know, I'll do better, I can be better. And then, you know, that was it, but I just basically like unloaded that, and then I told her like, I was like, look, the real love is my patience for you. It's like when you do this shit and I stick around and like put up with it and I'm nice, you know, it's like usually I'm not even like a jerk about it. Like I'm very nice and patient. So I was like, that's the love, you know, if you want to talk about love. And then I just went with it. And then she's like, what? And I was like, look, you know, this is the way it is. I'm like, you don't want to hear it. It's not nice. It's not romantic. I know I'm breaking your heart right now, but like, I'm just going to be like 100% with you. You know, it's like, this is how I'm feeling right now, and it's not good, and I don't like it. And she's like, what did I do? I can change. I can be whatever you want me to be. I was like, oh, I hope, you know. And I'm like, look, just like, I'm like, fucking fix yourself, basically. I'm like, take responsibility for what's going on and like, get help, you know, like, and if you don't, like, that's your problem. And I'm like, because like now she's losing a lot of weight too, and so her mom calls me up the other day.
Even more?
Yeah.
She's already like skeleton.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. And her mom calls me up and, oh, we're really worried about her. And then so like the other day, it's like, I'm like all on top of her and feeding her, making sure she eats. And I'm just like, I told her today, I was like, look, this fucking like me, like making you eat and stuff. I'm like, no, you fucking take care of yourself.
Why isn't she eating?
Because I don't know. I guess because like it could be a lot of things. Like I guess maybe she's anxious, so she has less of an appetite, and she just doesn't like to eat that much herself, you know. And I don't know what it is, you know, but she doesn't. And now she's getting more unhealthy. And when she does eat, she eats a lot of junk food too, so she's not getting a lot of nutrition.
She was already like
Yes,
way too
yeah, and
skinny.
she's much skinnier. But then it's
Oh
just
my
like,
god, so she's even skinnier now?
yeah.
Oh,
And
no.
I just told her, I was like,
That
look,
sounds
this is
scary.
like, I'm like, you fucking fix it. You know, if you need my help, I'm going to help you. I'm like, but none of this, like, me, like, tracking you and making sure this. I'm like, I'm not your mother, you know? I'm like, I'm not here to, like, take care of you. I mean, I'll help, right? But that's
you
the
don't
thing.
want to baby her.
Exactly,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like,
So
what
what
the
do you-
fuck am I
You want
doing?
to aid and not like.
Yeah, and not be like the fucking guy that has
No,
to
the
like,
puppet master.
did you eat today? Like,
Yeah.
did you eat today? What did you eat? Have to like screen everything you eat because if I don't bother you about it, you won't take care of yourself. And then that's probably why fucking like she has like these crazy episodes, you know? It's like she's
Like malnutrition too.
all this shit, you know, and it's like whatever it is, it's like recognize that it's wrong and like do something about it, you know. It's like I'm not putting up with this anymore. And then it's like, and then I told Tony about this too, and it's like I called her out and I was like, look, you're being fucked up to our son because you're acting crazy and you know, you're messing them up by being crazy. You're teaching them like nonsense when you're freaking out and stuff. And I'm like, I told her, I was like, I've held back on like butting in when you were doing that out of respect for you as a parent. But I'm like, I'm sick of it now. And if you start doing that stuff, I'm going to stop you, you know, because it's like, I'm not just going to let you yell at him for something that makes no sense, you know? And there's been too much of that where it's like, why are you like, you know, it's like, no doing that now. And it's like, well, why the fuck not? Or like shit that she feels paranoid about. Like, so this was the thing today. His computer, he's got a little computer and it has his name in it, right?
Okay.
And sometimes like he doesn't know how to like read or write or spell. Well, he's getting good at it, better at it. But like he goes in the computer and at some point he had changed his name and the computer goes like, your name is, your name starts with the letter M and it's spelled MZ3, like cause all this like random shit he put in. And then she's like, that's not your name. What's your name? And she gets like all like serious with him, you know, and it's like you need to know your, like he knows his fucking name.
Right.
And then it's like she starts in with this shit and then because he's a kid, he's like, now I don't have a name. Like now he's fighting her and she's freaking out now. He's like, I have no name anymore. And then she's like, no, you have a name. And then he's like, I don't have a name. Like, and he gets like all serious now. Like that's like he's learning these dumb things like that. Like he gets a serious tone, like. Because the way we talk to him, he's like, Mommy, stop doing that now. It gets real serious. I've had to crack down a lot on it because it's so fucked up. But anyway, so now she's like having a fucking power struggle with him over this shit.
Yeah, that's bad. That's
ridiculous.
And it is crazy. And it's like, all right, you know, it's like...
You gotta be careful, like, especially how you treat him.
Because he doesn't understand. Like, you're
He's a little
teaching him
kid.
bogus rules of reality, you know? It's like, you can't do that. It's like, you actually fucking can do that, and you should. Don't, like, listen to her. It's like, now I have to have a fucking aside with him. It's like, Mommy's just wrong. And he told her that the other day. He's like, you're wrong about everything.
That's what he said?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But anyway, and then I'm not trying to make it, like... him, me versus her thing, you know?
Right,
but,
right.
like, the way she comes at us, it kind of, like, makes it that way, you know?
I mean,
And then, dude,
that sucks.
and she does this crazy shit. She just fucking starts interrogating me all the time.
Like what?
Just, like, hard questions. Like, what is this? Like, what does this mean to you? Blah, blah, blah. Like, all these
what-
fucking, like, heavy questions. And she's serious with me. It's not like, oh, how do you feel about it? It's like, no, whoa, like, what is this? Boom, boom, boom.
Like, what would be one crazy question?
You know, what's your name? What's my name? She, like, the other day, she fucking, alright, I'm not gonna go back and, like, pull this shit out. But just, like, you know, what does June 29th mean? What do you mean?
Okay.
What does June 29th mean? I'm like, it's a day, it's my dad's birthday. She's like, you were gonna play a gig. I'm like, yeah, the gig was canceled. She's like, on the 29th. And just, like, again, like, all this, like, free association shit. And it's
So what
like,
is it supposed to mean, though?
nothing. It doesn't mean anything. It's like a couple of random things are happening around like a certain time or place or idea or word, and it's just like, and then it becomes a fucking thing.
But why is it a problem? Like, I don't even begin to understand.
Because for her, it's like there's some conspiracy. I assume it's like there's a conspiracy underneath this stuff. Then it's like, I
What,
guess,
to do something bad to her on the 29th?
yeah.
Wow,
so
it's like when you're tripping balls and all these weird things
That's
are connected
insane.
somehow.
it is. It fucking is.
That is crazy.
It is crazy.
Listen,
It's crazy, crazy.
That's
Yeah,
actually
it's
like, that's like bordering on scary.
And that's what it is. No, and I've been telling her that. I'm like, you really like, and not just when she's like being crazy, because there's no reasoning with her, but then it's like afterwards, I'm like, you know, you really scare me.
Really
You're really scary.
And what she said.
And she's like, or when she's driving in the car and she gets like that, I'm like, oh my god, she's just gonna fucking kill us all. She's just gonna drive the car like into the wall and kill everybody. I literally like have to like humor the idea. Like one time she was really crazy and I was like legit like, okay, I'm gonna grab the fucking emergency brake if I have to and just like rip that shit.
Was she driving like crazy?
She wasn't driving crazy, but she sure as hell was thinking crazy. And so I was like, all right, if the driving seems to be unaffected, but even still, it's like if she gets like worse and worse in those mental states, it's like she's going to be more distracted when she's driving anyway. So it's definitely more dangerous to be mentally unstable in
Yeah, of
driving
course.
versus being mentally stable in driving. It's
Yeah,
never
that's
better.
that's
There's not an advantage.
Yeah, those little moments, like you can get yourself killed, you know?
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
get distracted or something. And so anyway, this is the shit I've been putting up with.
So what?
And then she's like, "Don't you love me?" It's like, you know, but that's the point. That's the point. It's because it's like, I think I understand. It's because I really don't like love her like that, you know?
Right.
And then it's like, I've been like half saying it and so it's like I'm saying it, but I think she could just feel it, you know?
I think that might be what it is.
when she's
that-
around me, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go
Tony.
ahead. That's good.
That she could feel like the truth.
I was about to say that. I feel like, especially since you live together and stuff, and she picks up on like how you act and everything.
Yeah.
She probably does feel that. She feels your like antipathy towards her. You know? And she tries to like reconcile that or resolve that somehow.
Yeah.
But I think, unfortunately, especially once you like the things that you say, you know, I think it seems that way to me at least. Based on like the situation, like there isn't enough there maybe to resolve that. You know, like she wants to be satisfied in a way by you that would require you to feel a very specific way that you just don't feel.
And that's it.
And she realizes that, so she's trying to like. I've been in situations like that with people in the past too. Maybe not as extreme because I'm not living with them, you know. But similar in the sense that, you know, I'm looking for something from them, you know, but they don't have that thing to give me. And then I get frustrated and I get crazy in my head and like, you know, but it just isn't there, you know. So I think she might just be picking up on that, you know.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
And then, you know, I was thinking like, well, I'm wrong. You know, is it wrong for me, you know, to continue? Right. You know, would the right thing be to just like separate from her completely?
I don't know. I think part of I'm biased in your favor,
right?
And biased against her because she's like insulted me so many times. But like to the best of my ability, like me trying my genuine effort to be as objective as I can be and put all that aside to the best of my ability, I feel like it's hard for me to say that there's a good way forward with you two because I mean, as you obviously you know better than I do. These things don't seem to be improving on the whole. You know, you said, you get angry and you fight, and then she might be cool for a little bit, and then the same thing, like she doesn't take action to truly fix the issues, and then it just happens again and again and again and again. And you know, now you're getting woken up, somebody asking at 3 a.m, "Do you love me?" That's like, you know, and bizarre, psychotic things of like, you know, what's June 29th? And
I forgot to mention that. Like, that's pretty much nearly nightly occurrence now where I've told you about this, where she wakes me from a sound sleep to ask me an important existential question.
So I think like based on her inability to work on what she needs to work on and how you really feel about her, honestly, I would put my money on it's hopeless. And I don't want to say that, but it honestly feels that way to me, you know? Right. So that's what I would say. But Eric?
I kind of said this. I kind of said what you said already on Friday. You know, more or less, it was the same.
There was more shit that happened. Kind of is very similar, actually. What just happened that I was telling him about, and I'm telling you about, like it was very similar to the shit that happened on Thursday before we met up on Friday. It's like,
and I told you basically the same thing. Like I don't want to be the one kind of influencing you to do one thing or another.
Yeah. Right.
But it's like, hey, like
it's just too much. I think it's just like too long. You know, like when is it gonna change? Like we're like what's like 4 years in or something, right?
Yeah.
Like.
And then I always think I'm like, well, the point is that it's like, well, you know, I'm not doing enough. You know, it's like I need to, you know, for example, like be the one that walks her to the clinic to get like, you know, see a psychologist, and I need to be the one who books it for her, and I need to be the one who makes her meals and makes sure she eats them. But then I'm like, no, it's like, I shouldn't have to do all that.
I feel like, although the thing is,
I don't feel like doing it.
Exactly. I think the problem is, I think that like, that's the thing that I feel like deep down, like you don't care about her on the levels that you have to care / love someone
to do all that shit.
To do all that shit and to actually want to be with them, because it seems like you really don't want to be with her in a very real way, right?
Yeah, no, I don't. I mean, it's like, the truth is, it's like, sorry, Lee, if you ever hear this. Yeah. It's like, you know, we got married because of, you know, like the fact that she was pregnant. And I was like, my idea, maybe I was wrong at the time to choose to do this, but I was like, I'm going to try for the best result. And for me, the best result would be if we could stay together, work as a family, have mommy and daddy in the house with the child, and let that be like the way we go forward, you know?
Yeah.
And that's maybe that was wrong to do.
I just think that I don't see a way forward based on like my experience with her and what you say. And like, and I'm trying to be as objective as I can, and that's what I would honestly say.
Yes. So my wife's fears are finally confirmed. You both have admitted that you want us to get separated, so she's right all along.
I'm going to say something, though. You say, like, maybe that was a mistake, like what you did.
Yeah.
like after like those actions. But I think you might have wound up in a better place maybe than you were heading had that not happened. You know, it's
Because it held him back, you mean, from like drinking and stuff?
yeah, it's like you're kind of where you're at now. I mean, you can disagree with me, but like take her out of this situation. Take her out of it. Like, are you not in like the best place you've ever been in the sense?
Absolutely. No, and then I have always appreciated that like the transformation into like a father and a husband like helped to like set my ass straight in a lot of ways. That's absolutely true.
You know, like, I
That's
mean,
an era. Eras end, you know.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I think at the same time, you know, if you do end up leaving, that at least, you know, you can think like what he's saying, you know, like like what we've said before, the best thing is one of the most important things is what story you tell yourself about the things that happened, you know, since you becoming obviously more powerful mentally and in general, you maybe, you know, more and more you can, even if you end up leaving, you can be like, well, you know, this was fucked up in a million ways, but at least I made me more responsible. I stopped drinking. I took care of my son, you know.
Yeah, and I absolutely love my son, you know. It's amazing. Like I have zero resentment towards my son.
Yeah, but he didn't do anything, you know.
I love him, you know, and yeah, it's like, did I want to have a child? No. Am I happy I have Leland? Yes, because he's a really good son, and like
He's not guilty of anything.
He's not, and he's just great too. You know, I just like him. I like him a lot. You know, I like him way more than Julie. I go home and it's like I'm dropping everybody's name, but whatever. Beep, beep, beep. Just cut everything out or leave it. Fuck it. You'll find me dead or whatever.
Just waiting with the next.
Yeah, this will be the one she listens to. And then, but anyway, it's
Does
like,
she know we do this?
no, I haven't told her
Yeah,
because
good.
she would immediately go and look for it.
Yeah,
and that's the truth too. And then again, this
Don't
goes back
tell
to
her.
that. She's like, I feel like you're lying to me, and I do lie to her about a lot of things because it's like she
You
can't
learn.
handle any of the truth. You know, it's
Exactly.
like every truth I give her would be like it would like
Devastating.
mess her up. You know, and then I'd be like, oh my god. And every time I've tried to be like, let me just like do it, I always regret it. You know, it's never like, oh, I'm glad I shared that with you.
Exactly.
It's always
That's how I
like,
felt when
God damn it.
Well,
You
I
know,
mean,
like,
I'm sure I went more. I mean, at times maybe you've gone as crazy as I have with her, but I, because of that, I regretted like the things that I kind of ripped her apart.
yeah.
Like, although I didn't insult her, I ripped her apart. I think it was even worse in that way because it was like measured, you know.
Right.
It was like really thought out. So I regretted saying that ultimately because of that, you know, like it didn't help anything. And like she just became angry and more bitter and more angry and didn't really think, oh, well, at least there's truth here. Even if you can hate me, even if you could, it was true that I'm a horrible person, let's say.
Yeah.
You could still say, well, this person's an awful person.
But they have
But
a
these
point.
things that he said were actually true.
Right.
So like maybe I should fuck him, but I'll work on these things, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
None of that.
Yeah, you're gonna drink that beer.
yeah.
What's that?
You
So
really-
you're gonna drink that
Oh
beer.
yeah. Let me have a sip of this here.
Yeah, this time I got
Cerveza.
I got summer ale
Okay,
and
big.
cherry wheat Samuel Adams. They're pretty decent.
We got that pura vida, you know what I'm saying?
But yeah, it's a shame. I feel like I don't know. I think maybe you know maybe you do leave, and in the long run, I mean, your son will probably still be okay,
I'm sure you will.
and he's so fortunate. Even if you end up separating yourself, he might even be better off if Julie's not clearly not acting in the right ways.
Yeah,
he
she
might be
might.
better off in the long run.
Yeah.
But then I worry about that too, and I'll be like, then is this come down to like, if it is like a custody thing, it's like, do I have like no choice but to mention if there is like a hearing about custody? It's like, yeah, my wife has kind of like psychotic episodes sometimes, you know, it's like that might hurt like her chances of like having time with Leland, you
That's
know?
probably good.
Yeah, but
But-
then I feel like bad about like, you know,
Right.
Julie is like, I know she is, you know, adores him, you know, and he loves her too. That's his mom, and it's like I don't want to create like a difficulty between them.
Do you think it's? I mean, would it? I mean, if you do end up ending it, do you think it would be okay, like 50-50, or do you think she's too crazy to have him at all?
What I foresee is, and I've played the scenario out. I'm guessing she would go back with her parents, and I'm guessing like her mom would help.
But do you think she's sane enough, and it's okay for him to be with him half the time? Or do you fear that he won't be okay?
I don't know. It's like, it's hard to tell what'll happen. You know, it's like if I separate with her, then it's like, who knows, like her,
Reaction.
there's a good chance that her reaction is going to be negative. You know, maybe she'll have a nervous breakdown, you know, or something like that, a mental breakdown.
I think she might be like a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
Like actually crazy, which is kind of scary.
Right. And then it's like, then she'll be in that situation,
And then you don't want your son around that.
and then he'll be around that.
But
And it's
isn't
like,
that just a situation that is, if it's going to happen because of that, wouldn't it happen anyway because of something else eventually?
Potentially, yeah, that's a good point.
that's a
And
good point.
He'll be in the line of fire anyway.
Yeah, and it might be like a.
You
I
might
mean,
as well pull him out early.
it'll be like a moment. Like obviously, if you do that, I mean, it can't really be. If you do that, it can. I'm sure on some level it won't be that much of a surprise. You know, because I mean, like, I think deep down, like we're saying, she does know this. I think so. I think that maybe it will be really hard at first, but eventually she'll snap out of it. You know.
Yeah.
So like,
I mean, that's like kind of my hope is like she gets kicked back to her parents and she has to just like learn again. Like, and I mean, I've done this to her before. Like, I've hurt her very badly. I think like that's the case is like I've hurt her very badly many, many times.
right.
And I feel really bad about that. But then it just, it comes down to this point where it's like, even though I've hurt her and continue to hurt her badly, my lying to her to try and like make it better isn't making it better.
Right.
Because it's like, the truth is, it's like, I don't care that much. You know, it's just not who I am. Like, I might never care about anybody that much. Maybe it's just you, whatever it is, but like,
But she does act in crazy ways that makes it even harder for. And even if you were the most loving, you know?
Yeah, no, it's true. Like, because I mean, when we have good days and we're hanging out, and I'm like, yeah, like that's why it's like some days I'm like, yeah, this can totally work. You know, it's like we're laughing and it's fun, and then it's like, but then
it's just too much.
an hour later, or like not even, or a day later, or whatever, it's like the switch gets flipped, and it's like a completely different person, and it's just like more and more things are becoming sources of like fear and paranoia, and it's like.
So you think it's even getting even worse?
Yeah, it seems like it.
That's bad, man.
Yeah.
It does seem like.
It seems like it from like an outside view, at least from what you tell me.
But then it feels like too, it's like, well, I'm a shitty husband because it's like my wife has mental illness and I'm not even sticking by her, you know.
But you have for so long, haven't you?
And I feel like I have too, and then it's like, I don't know. And this is
I think it's also the way you became. It's like lover until death do part, whatever the fuck they say. Where it's like you were kind of forced into that situation.
That's what I'm thinking, dude.
So
it's like
why should you abide by those like weird rules anyway?
yeah. And that's what I was thinking too.
It wasn't
It's
even
like,
a church wedding.
no, I didn't.
So-
Yeah, it's like I didn't really
Does that even
choose to
count?
marry her. You
Yeah.
know, it's like I said, yeah. I guess
You
forced.
entered into a legal contract with her because you guys had a kid. It's-
Yeah. It
Yeah.
was like that, you know. Like
I don't need to be like
honest-
told about that.
No,
shit.
man,
what
and that's
that
the
is.
problem, though.
That's
It's
what
like
that is.
I think it's like that's the problem. Is like because there's all this like guilt and shame, like underneath the relationship,
Take your shirt off.
and then what?
Take your shirt off. I didn't take my shirt off when I ran. You know why? Because I felt a sense of shame. You know, I'm not necessarily ugly, but I still felt shame. That's something I have to overcome. You took your shirt off though.
Yeah.
I saw you. I saw your body. I was like, wow, look at that man with no shirt on. It's like I'm like envious. You know, why do I envy you with your shirt off, and but feel shame with my shirt on? You know.
Oh yeah,
I shouldn't feel that.
Oh, yeah,
way.
you're,
So I'm saying, fuck that shame. That's like you can do that. You know.
I don't know. I feel like I'm
So
sure.
you're saying that I should strip naked and like tell her everything?
like
That's a good way to disarm people. They're like,
I think you. I mean, you definitely. I'm sure you've done
You
things
want
that are. Yeah, I think. I'm sure you've done things that are wrong.
I have many things.
Yeah, you're not innocent, but it's like that doesn't mean you should feel guilty.
But I mean, maybe you both would be happier with somebody else. You know, just like maybe if you took time off from each other and then just little by little, maybe you find somebody else.
I mean, historically, our relationship has been pretty fucked up in a lot of ways, you know?
Like even pre this relationship.
Yeah, I mean, because look, we broke
So
up the
what-
first time for a reason, you know? I'm alright, thank you.
Yeah, I feel like it's just too long for the same issues to persist. You know,
Yeah.
it's like
And I don't have, like, yeah, I'm sorry to cut you off. But it's like Eric was saying, it's like, because I was forced into this in the first place, it's like my level of commitment and investment was already, like, on the low side, you know?
yeah.
So it's like, I can't, yeah, it's like, I know, I just thought if I could just, like, really try and really, like, give myself, like, I could do well and, like, you know, maybe I would never like feel like really enamored and romantically like bowled over again. But like maybe if we could at least just get a fully functioning like healthy family going, like it would be worth it. Like I would sacrifice like that much freedom and like that degree of discomfort to know that like there could be something that's like functioning, you know, that would be best for Lee, that would not like take away from like my life here, because like that's the thing too, it's like I still gotta live a life too, you know, it's like how many years of like misery and unhappiness like am I willing to like put up?
Yeah, it's like you got tricked into buying shitty shoes, and you tried to make the best of it, and you try to like deform your feet, but these shoes aren't changing. Like there's still these like crappy shoes. It's like, yeah, I signed a shoe contract, but it's like just fuck that shoe contract. Like get new shoes, you know?
Yeah.
Or just take your shoes.
That's
off
why there's
that
amendments to the Constitution.
I think one of the things that freaks me out the most is like disappointing like her parents.
Why?
Because like her parents are kind of people that it's like I can tell that they're trying to make things work and they're trying to make things better.
Right.
But again, I don't even think they would be surprised. They'd probably be like, fuck, now we have to deal with her.
Yeah.
Maybe, but I think that.
And they might be angry at me for that, but
Ultimately, like it would even be better for her, because I mean, I don't know. I think some of the things that she really wants, like we were saying, you just aren't in that person. You know, like you aren't very. You don't want to like lay in the couch all day and cuddle her all day, right?
No, and I think that is probably what she would like. And I told her that yesterday too. I'm like, I'm not a touchy-feely person, you know. Like, I don't.
What, do you ever like cuddling or just no?
There's times, yes, but it's just like appetite, you know. It's like my appetite for that is very
low.
Yeah, it's very low because I'm so yes. I'm dying.
Cold, frigid.
I am, dude. It's just like I want to like look at things. I don't want to touch things, you know. It's like
you should go to a museum, not get married.
Yeah. But so that's the thing. It's like
I'm good, thank you.
I like space. Like I like space between things. That's a comfortable thing is space, you know.
Yeah,
you're a fucking hermit.
I should. Yeah, and I probably could be if I wanted to. You know, I think I have like the personality for it.
Yeah, you don't miss people.
I feel
space.
I feel like
you and your child could go out live in the woods and just like.
I noticed something. Yeah, that's like a fundamental thing about you that you know.
Start a village.
It's weird how it is because those things like they cause so many good things and bad things, and it's such a power part of you that it's and then I feel that about certain qualities that I have, and it makes me wonder like. Sometimes, a lot of the time, like I want to defend that, and like, why would I change that? You know?
Yeah.
Or like, I like that about myself, or something.
I definitely feel like it could be viewed as like not disability, but like a malady, you know. But like you're saying,
maybe slightly.
Like sometimes I feel like that, like I'm like abnormal because I don't have like the appropriate like level of affection for other human beings.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah, but I don't feel like it's to the point that it's alarming.
Yeah. I think I do things like I like to do things like that are powerful, you know? Yeah. And I feel like there's too much like meaningless junk. And so I don't want to do the meaningless junk, you know? The meaning like you feel that too. It's like doing meaningless things, it kind of kills you inside a little bit to do. But it's like I'd rather like hit somebody with like the pure thing like once a year than like 365 days of like the wrong thing, you know what I mean?
I hear you.
And so like that's the thing. It's like I'm gonna ask you like a good question. Like that's like what I'm gonna do for you. But I guess that's the other thing too. It's like I'm very intellectual like that. It's like if you don't like that shit, you're not gonna like the kind of attention and affection I give you. You know?
Yeah.
It's like I want to like do that with Julie. It's like see to the bottom of each other, you know?
Right.
And it's like she wants to touch me, but I want to like see through everything with her.
Right.
You know the concept of love languages?
Yes, a student actually explained this to me.
What is it?
Basically there's different types of love languages. Like, I guess, I don't know if each person has two or if it's both the same. I think there's like 4 or 6 types. I don't remember.
5. It was the 5 languages of love.
Oh, I think you get like you major in something, then you might have like a minor and like a few others.
Yeah, it's kind of like a personality breakdown where it's like
you take a quiz and
it's like you receive and give love in these manners, and they have like a couple of frameworks. Like one is like acts of service, which was my big one, acts of service. So I was like, that's kind of like a dick thing. It's like I want people to serve me, but acts of service, like acts of like physical like affection.
Yeah.
Gift giving is
Okay.
one. Like some people like, and so basically, it's this just that like a concept framework of how do you do that.
That reminds me of when when somebody has like the other day I was working with somebody at my job and I felt like we were closing a loan and it was kind of tense, and I felt like I was really aggressive with it, but like in a respectful way. I was like really pushing, like let's get this done, like right now, you know. And he at the end of the day tells like, and we get it done, right? And there was like all these tensions to it, and then he tells me like that I did a really good job. The person that guy I was closing the loan with, but he's like, you said like the one he told the customer, he's like, please answer. I said, we're gonna call you to confirm the wire from the loan right now. Please answer. So that's what I emailed him with like high importance because it's like that's how it is, you know. And he's like, the fact that you said please answer could be perceived as overly aggressive.
Yeah.
And I
Please
felt,
reply. That's like that picture of the dude that sends his dick. You ever see that? Like screen capture?
Wait, so you think it's overly aggressive?
And it's like he sends a picture of the girl and his face. He's like, "I sent you a picture of my dick. Please reply." No, I don't think it's necessarily that kind of.
But do you think it could be
tone.
seen as aggressive?
Yes.
Really?
I think it's like it's an assertive. It's like this is what needs to be done. It's like get over it afterwards. You know what I mean? If you're really taking that to heart, you're a little bitch.
How
That's how I think.
aggressive do you think it could come off?
That-
Very?
I mean, it really depends on the industry, and it's like there's a different like culture and expectation in different.
Okay, so
industries.
basically you both think it is aggressive.
Yeah, but I like.
But I'm okay with
Like-
it. I feel like it's appropriately aggressive.
Yeah, I think like I
But it's
kinda
not like
it.
pushy. I feel like
Is it rude?
It could be perceived as that.
it could be, but
Not that it
shouldn't.
Not because it really is, but because certain like business ethics and guidelines, I feel like dictate the tone of conversation with customers or clients, and that like the tone should never include something that puts a demand on the client, kind of thing. You know? Even though when you have to, it's like the same thing. It's like a client is wrong, but it's like you can't tell them they're wrong because it's like you have to like. Delicate, like you treat the mental state of the client like they're a little baby, like God forbid you say something to them, but that's like,
But it's the truth because he has the power. It's
Yes.
like they should be. It's like, hey, this is a reminder, by the way. We're the ones fucking pulling the strings, so like do this shit.
and that's why I like what you're doing, and I hope that you will usher in an era. You will be a revolutionary of sorts, and you will help to overturn this archaic nonsense. And I think I know you're about to speak, but it's also an indication that it's like you're destined for more powerful position because it's like you're already assuming like power beyond your so-called means.
He doesn't see it that way, but that's how I see it. But he's a cool guy, and I think that's hypocritical because he's been like really intense with me. But I guess the difference because it's me.
Yes,
But
that's the difference.
And I see that, but I at first I was kind of like disappointed, but like I was like, I worked so hard to get this done, and maybe it wouldn't have gotten done if I didn't act that way,
Yes, it's true.
But then like I kind of see it like so. At first I was kind of angry. Then it seems like so trivial and small,
Well, is he your supervisor?
No, he's not really my boss.
Did your boss ever tell you not to do that?
Not really. But I mean, I personally did realize it was blunt, but I thought it was like kind blunt.
Because you threw in the please
Yeah, because I felt like
instead of answer, just that way.
like please. I'm like I felt like I'm saying it's kind of a please with an urgency. Like this is really important, and you have to answer this call, or you're not going to get your money.
You want a pro tip? This is what I do. At the end of every aggressive thing, I end with the period, then like throw in "thank you!" exclamation point, and that's how
I thought something like that too.
That's like a cheery
but-
thanks for the cooperation.
I guess
It kind of works. I haven't gotten any.
I guess I take it. I guess like I see his point. Yeah, but I don't know if like it's weird because like. How much can I defy that? And I like the idea. I feel like that should be acceptable, and you should, if anything, thank me that I did that.
Well, I mean, it's like test the boundaries, right? If you're one of the top performing people, and it's like you say, like, please answer every now and then, and nobody complains about it, it's like, I think Eric is right. It's like, are you going to lose, like, a major customer because one of the client service people said, please answer? It's like, if the business is really solid, that you guys are doing, like, should it really matter if you say please answer?
You know what's interesting too, because this guy who has to we have to call like the main guy of the company when you like give somebody a loan, when it gets finalized and you send him the money, whatever millions you're sending him, like he has to, or whatever, sending them to whoever he has to send it to. You have to talk to him on the phone personally and like confirm like the amount, the account number with like the main person, you know. And he was saying like, and this was we were like closing the loan like at noon, and he's like, "Is it okay if you call me after 4?" And I'm like, "No, like this is going down now. What do you mean at 4?" You know. But I'm like, and basically, if the money was going to pay off another loan that he had with another bank, so if the other bank doesn't receive it by 4, now the payoff amount of that day is no longer accurate. It has to be the next day. So we can't close today. We have to close tomorrow. And now the other loan costs more because another day went by and more interest was added to it.
Right.
So I'm like, so I wasn't gonna think about. So at first he's like, he wanted to wait all the way till 4, and then this Chris guy comes by and he's like, he's like, did you see that email? He said we should wait till 4. He's like, do it now, and if he doesn't answer, then he must not want his money. That's what he tells me, kind of like half jokingly.
This is the guy you closed with.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
The guy who later said what I'm telling you. So I'm like, I'm kind of like that. I'm like, so that kind of gave me also some inspiration to like, all right, like
Green light.
we're being forceful here, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, perfect. So I felt like supported with him by him in that way. So then when the guy's like, can I hawk off the 4? I'm like, no. I'm like, no. I'm like, unfortunately, no, because the wire room closes like at 3:30-ish, which isn't true. They'll push it till like 5, but I said that because I know how late people will be. So I'm like, we close at 3:30-ish, although we really close like at 5. And so, and also, if we wait another day, your interest is going to increase in your other loan. You know, like if we wait past 4, your bank is not going to accept their payment. So we have to do it now. And like nobody seemed to have an issue with that. Or you know, that I don't know. Was that rude?
No, that sounds fine.
Yeah, I mean,
That's assertive.
and the best thing too is like to highlight the fact that it's like you're looking out for them. You know?
Yeah.
It's like I'm doing it for you. You know,
If
trying
you
to
threw
make
in like a keep your mouth shut after, or do what I say.
But yeah, so
Yeah,
that seemed to be cool. So then I'm like,
and the
all
guy
right.
was cool with it, right?
Yeah, and like never said anything. I'm like, I felt like since he was so like calm about it, you know, like, oh, I'll just answer after 4. You know, like, you know, but I'm like no,
I'm gonna
now.
be busy eating a sandwich. I don't know.
And I felt like he wasn't really getting the seriousness of it right away. He felt like, oh, you know, I'll answer when I can answer, when I feel like answering. I'm like, no, you're gonna answer now.
I feel like I'm the customer and I'm talking to you. It's like, motherfucker.
Also, like, that's one thing that, so, and then, you know, that was fine, and then he complained about that, but overall, all got done, and, like, he's, at the end, I noticed this Chris guy, like, he felt kind of bad, because I feel like, I didn't say anything, but we said, like, you know, maybe don't be, he's like, you're a bulldog, he's like, that's how you have to be, that's what he said, and then right away, he said, then he contradicted himself and said,
You should be like, bulldogs eat pussy.
and then he, and then he said, you know, so yeah, then he contradicts himself. It's like, well, you were too blunt here, you know. So I guess he was trying to say overall you did a great job.
Right.
He's like, that's what you have to be, but then he's like, but don't be that way. Actually, you know, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
I guess he meant
Maybe.
sometimes be that way.
You still gotta have a code of ethics in your sword fight. You know what I'm saying?
I guess like
Don't stab him in the nuts. Unless that's his weak spot.
But then
maybe he's just warning you. You know, maybe he's trying to tell you. You know,
Yeah, it might be a dark path. You know, he doesn't want to see you like, you know.
go too far.
Yeah, it's like it's okay to have a little edge. You know, it's like hold off, but it's like you don't want to just become like edge man. You know, and just be cutting shit just because you can, because that shit can slip away. You feel the power.
Get drunk with power, just
Yeah,
like chopping heads
just-
off left and right.
Your dick is like engorged with like razor blades. You know.
that's one way of saying it. But yeah, so I was kind of disappointed by that. But then by the end of the day, I'm like, I just kept thinking like that annoyed me. But I'm like, I can't think clearly right now because I was really tired. I had to do like other things while I was doing that. You know, it's not like I just get to do that. You know, it's like your normal work plus something really tense like the whole day. You know, but it's fun. I like that. It's like I get like high on it. I'm like. Like, I have to sign right now. It's just like, and also like during this, like the system that they have to like finalize the wire shut down supposedly.
Oh man!
So I called the guy. I'm like, is the wire out? Yeah, like the people who do the wire. And I said that very nicely. I'm like, you know, we have to pay off another bank. Could you please give me an update on the package I submitted because we have to get this wire out by 4. We're gonna, you know, have to charge the customer more. Blah blah blah. And they're like, oh, let me check. And they're like, oh, the system is down. We can't process it. So like,
you dumb motherfucker.
so then like I had to call again like an hour later and it still wasn't done. And then like an hour later, finally it was done. So it took like a long time. So like, let's say the customer, I let the customer be all calm, like, and he signed like at 3. You know, now my package is like way behind in the queue, and the system was clogged up, so it's gonna take forever. You know.
That's right.
So like, I put it like on top of the pile. I'm like,
You got what it takes, man. You really, I think that's like, that is the point. That's why it does help to be assertive.
I just gotta,
Because
like,
it's
watch-
why like waste like time when time is of the essence.
yeah, I just gotta like, I guess, be more careful with what I say.
I
Yeah.
feel like if your life was a movie, be played by a younger Tom Cruise. You could be doing that now. This would be like the '80s song would come on. Like, shit, like, yeah.
But yeah, that stuff is fun to me. Like, I
Yeah,
like
like,
it.
all right, deal's closed. Thank you.
I like that stress. in
Everyone
a way.
high five.
Woo!
Yeah, like he shook my
Drinks
hand
only.
after, you know, and then at the end, I texted everyone, you know, like, hey everyone, the package, the person who said please answer, like he was on it too, obviously, he was copied. Although he never actually said anything, you know. He would like his people just did everything. He was just like looking, you know. And I'm like, you know, the wire is complete. You know, the loan package is submitted. The wire is complete. Here's like your reference number for the wire, which tells them, you know, just like they can look up their wire, you know. And I'm like, have a nice weekend. And then like, that's it, you know. And you know, like the CEO, not the main thing, but the CEO, he's like, oh, awesome, thank you so much, you know.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then the other guy never said anything.
I will say this, right? Maybe part of it too is like a technique, like to like people, like really high level people, like they probably like a lot of people are trying to get their time. A lot of people are trying to get them to do stuff, and I feel like really successful people at the top like only handle important shit. Like they're good at delegating, where it's like, okay, like I only want to handle like the most important shit. Like that's what I'm gonna handle, and then
Yeah. But I feel like I like, you know what I've noticed is that I like talking to that person because his seriousness is a serious that answers the questions that I have. You know, like his knowledge I need. So like I like when like I like dragging those people to me and like you tell me because like I know you know like
power trip.
the exceptions. Yeah. You know, like the exceptions.
You're like a mosquito.
Like they'll know that little like nitty gritty, the exception, the like super high level way of doing it. You know. Like they answer like when everybody doesn't know, like they're the ones they know. Like now you call them, you know, like those kind of people are.
that is like real power. Like that's like the truth.
Yeah, like those people are so cool to talk to.
Those are cool people to talk to.
They're so like deadly precise, you know, like a knife.
Yeah, man, that's the way to be.
I feel like I have to press people out of my job, but it's kind of fun, you know. I'm like, I need this from you, like, you know, like, and I try to like raise attention, like little by little. It's like, where is it, you know?
Hey, I
Whoever
think
gets the job though.
yeah, I think it's much better, and management would be much happier to have an employee that's as like vigilant as you. It's like usually people back off when like I know I was like this. It's like like the first sign of like discomfort, you know. It's like I'd back off and stuff because I was like afraid of like what would happen, but like. It's great that you're like committed to getting the business done, which is what it's about, you know.
I get like high on it, like fun in a way, but I can't get annoyed like if it's for too long, you know.
Right.
Like 2 days of that is like kind of fun, but then it's like if it's a whole week of that, it's like.
You should definitely read the 4-Hour Work Week when I'm done with it. I'll lend it to you.
But then even in those moments where like the stress builds so much, and I feel like it's getting to too much, after it's like. I'm glad that happened. I feel like I pushed like my threshold further, you know?
You must have a lot of fucking energy, man.
Man, what kind of weird pills you taking? You still taking any of those like Joe Rogan pills?
No, I'm not taking anything. Nothing.
Dang.
Just eating fruit.
You still do the shakes in the morning?
Yeah, I do.
It's that spinach.
I feel like that drink, I don't know if it must be, obviously it's good for you, right?
Yeah.
But there must be, I don't know, if for some reason it literally makes you happy quicker or something.
I definitely always get a kick out of it.
Yeah, I feel like it raises my mood almost instantly, almost as I'm drinking. And I'm like, am I psyching myself out? But it really does feel that way.
Yeah.
It's like slight, but it's nice, you know?
You started putting anything new in it, or?
I mixed that up with fruits here and there, but I prefer like basic, like kale, spinach, banana, and like a little bit of ginger in the powder.
You put strawberries or anything?
I have, but usually I go back to like the basics.
Yeah.
It just like, I don't know, it strikes me better.
I started putting regular berries too, like blackberries and stuff.
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah. Does that work,
frozen
blackberries?
ones. What's up?
Do blackberries work?
What do you mean?
Does it work? It taste good with blackberries?
Yeah, I just throw a bunch of random shit. I just
Like an onion?
like the other day I didn't have water, so it's like, all right, so I'll tell you what my like shit's up to right now. So it's like banana, you got the Greek yogurt, frozen spinach. What do I do?
Oh, Greek yogurt is good. I feel like that helps
Oh, no, I'm
like, consist-
sorry.
the texture of it.
Yeah, Greek yogurt after the spinach, and then I put the protein powder in,
Like more Greek yogurt.
and then I put turmeric in.
Turmeric.
Yeah.
Does that make it good?
I don't know. It's supposed to be good for your stomach or some shit. I don't know,
Okay.
like I think it's supposed to go on rice, but it's like you can't taste that shit. I was like, what? And then, this can't hurt. It's like whatever. Put
The,
some turmeric on
the
it.
flavor of the weight of the protein powder, I feel like covers pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then throw some flax seeds.
Oh, flaxseeds. Those are good.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And then
Thought you put a lot in it.
Next level shit.
and then I'll put some water in, like 2 espresso cups. But like this day, I only had water downstairs, but I had some cranberry juice, so I just put a bunch of cranberry juice
Yeah,
inside.
why not?
I was like, whatever. I'm like, it's cranberry. I don't know.
Damn,
It's
that's a hefty drink.
Yeah. And then I'll put some strawberries in, and then I bought like a berry mix, so it was like cranberries. I'm sorry, not cranberries. It was blueberry, blackberry, raspberry,
Okay.
and like cherry. I guess cherry's a berry. It was like something. I think it was a cherry. I don't know what it was.
Cherry's a berry.
It was a big berry. So it was all that, and that was pretty good. It's like it's gotta be good. That's like some nature shit, you know. If you're like a wandering human, you pick a blackberry, eat it. Pick this, eat it.
All right, now I'm gonna give you guys my smoothie.
Yeah, what do you do?
Oh,
Are
I
you-
throw ginger in there too. I started doing it.
I think
after
ginger
you
does
told
help,
me.
but it's nice.
Yeah, it tastes like I'm like, whoa, like there we go. There it is.
What do you put in it?
I got 2 recipes actually.
Okay.
So I have
Wow,
the
you
morning
guys are fancy.
recipe and the afternoon recipe. So I'll give you the morning recipe is frozen spinach or kale, but I think I'm more into the spinach after all. 5 cherries. Then I do like a huge tablespoon of regular whole milk yogurt. Then I do like 2/3 milk,
Okay.
protein powder, and olive oil on top.
Olive oil. What the fuck? The fuck are you doing?
That's
What's
pretty
that
reasonable.
for?
That's pretty reasonable.
That's
And
olive oil. So it
for,
doesn't
for
stick.
calories and fat.
So it doesn't stick against the sides.
It helps a little bit with the
Does it?
consistency too. But it's just like, it's a really high calorie food. And then sometimes, like, if I really want to push the calories, then I'll put peanut butter or almond butter for calories.
Is it good?
It tastes good. It does taste
I think
good.
mine tastes like almost bad, but I feel like I don't drink it for a taste, and I'm okay
Yeah.
with it. It's like refreshing but bad.
Just throw like 3 strawberries on there.
But I kind of like that it's bad.
That's one thing I like
You're a
about
sick fuck.
I like about the cherries is like the cherries, like they seem to pack a lot of flavor like in a small amount. So that's why I like them, and they're also like they give color
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Because sometimes you blend it up, it's like gray, and then it's just not fun
Yeah.
to drink gray.
That's why I like the berries. It makes it all purple and gray.
I brought frozen cherries and I just let them like defrost naturally, and then when
Uh-huh.
I ate them. Strawberries, they were so delicious.
Oh really?
Yeah.
After defrosting them, you can.
Yeah.
The frozen ones are so much better than anything ever.
Yeah, like I bought frozen ones and I just let them sit to eat them by themselves like later.
In the bag, or did you took them out?
I took them out of the bag and left them in the plate for like a little bit, you know. I think I ate them after like it defrosted a little bit. They were so delicious. It was just like wow.
Yeah, frozen fruit is way better. It's like they catch it fresh, you know, they just freeze it at its like maximum. It's like crypto.
That
whatever.
flavor is
Like
like
they capture its
Not crypto.
the peak of
it's like
Cryo.
beautiful. It's like beautifully flavorful. Like it. You know what's funny? Like the best taste, like I think, like give you like your whole mouth a collective amazing feeling of taste. You know.
It's like
nice.
you nut in your mouth.
Yeah, and like something, like most things
That's
are
why
like
girls like it.
most things are missing. Like things like you're like, oh, like it's kind of good in this way, but not good. You know.
Do you ever get that taste when
I gotta
the
run to
taste,
the bathroom real
when
quick.
the taste is so good you can feel like this weird kind of almost pain in your cheeks? It's like up high and it's like a tingling like I don't know.
I haven't gotten that now.
It's like that shit. Maybe something's wrong with me. I should get that looked into.
When you like something that happens to you.
Yeah, like sometimes like it happens more with the shakes. I guess because all the fruit and stuff I put in sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's like I'll take this. It's like and you just let it sit in your mouth and you can like taste it, like get a good taste, and it's just like it's like you can feel like the secretion almost like.
I feel that, but not when it's good or bad. I feel it like like a twitch thing kind of
Almost, yeah.
like a very sensitive like sharp something, right?
Yeah.
I feel
It
that,
feels
but
like cheek, like more from the cheeks, like.
yeah, I think I know what you mean. But I get that when I eat something, when I first start eating or something, I'll get like a
Yeah, like a stretching kind of thing. I don't know what that means.
yeah. But that's what you're talking about, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think we're talking about the same
Yeah.
thing. It's hard to describe these like weird,
That's a
like,
weird topic.
nonsensical like human body things.
You missed that weird topic.
Oh, what was it?
When you sometimes when you start eating, you get that like weird sensation on the side of your cheeks, the side of your mouth. like over here sometimes.
Yeah, well, like this thing.
like a sharp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's getting used to eating like.
All right, afternoon recipe
Okay.
is like 5 ice cubes.
What?
About
This
like
smoothie recipe for
a half a cup
afternoon.
of coffee.
Why do you freeze the ice cubes?
What's
I
that?
mean, why do you freeze the ice? What's the ice for? I should say.
The ice is to like make it colder.
Oh, okay. Alright, go on.
Okay, so ice cubes.
Ice cubes, then half a cup of coffee,
Okay.
about a cup of milk,
Mm.
3 tablespoons of peanut butter, and a
Okay.
banana. And that's like my coffee frap drink for
Okay.
the afternoon when I get
What?
home.
That's like an Elvis.
What time do you get home?
I usually get, well, it's usually after I work out. So I'll get home, usually 4:45, start working out, and then, maybe be like enjoying that shake at like 5:45.
Wait, where are you?
And you wait. Do you eat dinner after this still?
Yes.
You're crazy, man.
Are you home now? You're home now, though. Or
Yeah,
You,
at this point I'm home.
but where do you go during the day now? Do you practice?
Well, what I do is I wake up. This last week was an awful week. I was the worst person like I've been in a long time this past week in terms of spending money, wasting time, everything. It's
Okay.
terrible, and I was like so ashamed. But I'm gonna vow to like get more serious.
You needed a rest.
That happens the first week. It's like you're the Catholic schoolgirl that like gets
Yeah.
a taste of dick and goes crazy.
Exactly.
You know, get that out of your system.
Yeah, I hope it was just that, but I'm gonna put like
That's a
stop
great
to-
metaphor. That's a beautiful metaphor. I'm glad we have that on tape.
So I gotta rein it in. Start actually getting up at 5. But that's the other thing too that pisses me off about my wife waking me up is like I'm trying to wake up early as hell, And
I hate when I wake up.
Your sleep rhythm. And
I
shit.
hate getting wake. If you wake, it sucks when you get woken up during the night because you won't rest as well. You wake up at 2 or something, then sleep till like 6. But it's just like
Insane.
your brain is like no.
Yo, that thunderstorm wake you up
Yes.
the other day? Dude, that woke the fuck
Awesome.
out of me.
That woke me up. Yeah, when like, and then I opened my eyes and I saw like the room light up. I'm like, holy shit!
I'm like, why is the sky exploding? I'm like, I gotta close my window.
Did that wake you up?
I didn't get woken up by it. No.
I guess he was farther away.
It scared me. I opened my eyes like a scary movie scene.
Yeah, that was not loud. And the rain that came afterwards, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
It's like that one setting on like the shower head that's just like a little too much. It's like,
Yeah.
this hurts.
Like a week before or so, it rained a lot, and I was driving in that. I'm like, oh,
That's
fuck.
rough.
But I was running for like 15 minutes. Usually, when the rain's super hard, it ends quick.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. It's like you know too fast.
Can't sustain that. That's the truth of like anything. It's like when you see like a really high energy system of some kind,
Yeah.
it's probably like it does not have staying power.
That's
Like-
why like a really large person just dies fast.
It's like burning the candle at both ends.
Yeah, it is. It's like this intense thing. It's like, or it's going to be unstable.
I feel like
It's
that's kind of
a
how
new-
like a
life is
star.
just in general. Like you are a candle burning out at both ends.
You think so?
Yeah, because like you're just like slowly dying. Some people like their flame burns
Why both
faster
ends?
because like will be destroyed by the pressure of life. Eventually.
Oh, I see. It's one's like the natural death, and one's all the extra circumstances.
Yeah.
But that should be the same flame. It doesn't matter.
We'll get flattened out, and then
It'll just burn faster. Just be like
I guess it doesn't have to be at
Powerful.
both ends. Yeah, like why does it have to be? Yes,
that's silly. It's like
Where's the axis of
just
humanity?
make the fire stronger, and then you could hold the candle better.
Just throw it into like a flame, like fuck it, throw it into.
Some people do that.
throw it in the oven.
That's true. That was basically my choice for a while. I feel like that's like the equivalent of being like an alcoholic. Like that's what you're doing. It's like if like life had a sum, you would just like let's say the sum of life is 24, and you could be like alcoholism is like putting minus 24 in that equation. It's like it just makes it equal 0.
Shame you didn't say 42.
I was thinking you were going to say that. For
Yeah. I was like 24. I was like, you fucked that shit up. What are you dyslexic?
Everybody knows the sum of life.